Have you ever truly considered the device you're watching this on right now? This sleek marvel of glass and metal in your hands, or sitting on your desk, is a gateway to the entire world. It connects us, it informs us, it entertains us. But it holds a profound secret, a hidden paradox that is shaping the future of our civilization. Because inside this device, and inside the electric cars we're told will save our planet, and inside the vast energy farms sprouting in our deserts and oceans, lies a ticking clock. The very technology that has liberated us is chained to a resource that is finite, destructive, and unsustainable. This is the story of that chain and the brilliant, audacious attempt to break it. This is the story of a battery that isn't just a better battery, it's a new beginning for energy itself. The great challenge, the defining issue of our century, isn't just about generating clean energy. It's about what happens when the sun sets and the wind dies down. We've become remarkably good at capturing the power of nature. We have vast, shimmering fields of solar panels that drink in sunlight and elegant wind turbines that dance with the breeze. But this gift of clean energy comes with a catch. Nature is intermittent. It pauses. The sun doesn't always shine, and the wind doesn't always blow. And in those moments of stillness, our modern world, with its insatiable hunger for electricity, demands a solution. We need a reservoir. A dam for the electrical current. We need to store that energy. For decades, the undisputed champion of energy storage has been the lithium-ion battery. Let's give it its due. This technology is nothing short of a revolution. It's the silent workhorse that powered the portable electronics boom, unshackling us from the wall socket and putting supercomputers in our pockets. It's what made your smartphone, your laptop, and your wireless headphones possible. Now it's poised to do the same for our transportation and our power grids. It is without a doubt a titan of modern technology. But every titan has a tragic flaw, an Achilles heel. The lithium-ion battery, our trusted servant, is built on a foundation that is beginning to crack. Its very chemistry hinges on a cocktail of rare and problematic materials. Lithium, the battery's namesake, is often called white gold, but its extraction is a brutal, thirsty process. In the salt flats of South America's Lithium Triangle, vast quantities of water, up to 500,000 gallons per ton of lithium, are pumped from underground aquifers and evaporated away in massive pools, leaving a trail of environmental devastation and depriving local communities of a precious resource. It is a bitter irony that the key to our green electric cars is leaving parts of our planet barren and dry. And then there's cobalt, the material that stabilizes the battery and prevents it from catching fire. A staggering amount of the world's cobalt comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where it is mined in appalling conditions, often by children, in a trade rife with human rights abuses. It has been called the blood diamond of the battery world, a morally compromising ingredient in our supposedly clean technology. The supply chains are fragile, controlled by a handful of nations, making the world's energy future vulnerable to geopolitical whims. Finally, there's the end of the road: recycling. What happens when these billions of batteries die? We face an impending e-waste catastrophe, a veritable mountain of toxic, difficult-to-recycle materials. The processes to recover the valuable metals are complex, energy-intensive, and often more expensive than simply mining for new ones. So we mine, we use, and we discard, in a linear cycle that is fundamentally at odds with the circular, sustainable future we so desperately need. This is the dilemma. The world's hunger for batteries is exploding. By 2030, demand is expected to increase tenfold. But the materials to build our current champion are becoming a bottleneck, a source of environmental harm, ethical conflict, and geopolitical tension. The very tool we are using to fight climate change is creating a new set of crises. The hero, it turns out, has a dark side. Faced with this looming cliff, the brightest minds on the planet have embarked on a modern-day gold rush. Not for gold, but for a better battery. The race is on. Researchers are frantically exploring every conceivable alternative. Some are looking at sodium-ion batteries, using abundant and cheap salt as a replacement for lithium. Others are experimenting with metal-free organic designs, trying to build a battery from a kind of e-slurry. These are all noble and necessary pursuits. But one concept, so simple and yet so revolutionary, has emerged from the fray. An idea that doesn't just seek to build a better battery, but to rewrite the very definition of what a battery can be. It's a concept powered not by rare metals dug from the earth, but by the smallest, most fundamental, and most abundant particle in the entire universe, the proton. Imagine a battery that breaks free from the shackles of geology. A battery whose fuel isn't mined, but is all around us in every drop of water, in the air we breathe. This is the promise of the proton battery. It's a revolutionary vision that replaces the finite, heavy, and problematic ions of lithium or sodium with the elemental building block of the cosmos, the proton, which is simply the nucleus of a hydrogen atom. Hydrogen, the first element in the periodic table, the stuff of stars, the most abundant material in the universe. We are made of it. Our world is built with it. Unlike lithium, which is concentrated in a few specific locations on Earth, hydrogen is everywhere. It can be sourced from water, H2O, through a simple process of electrolysis. The implications of this are staggering. It democratizes energy storage. A nation wouldn't need vast mineral wealth to build its energy future. It would just need water and ingenuity. It's a vision for a battery that is not just powerful, but universally sustainable and accessible. It's a shift from a destructive, extractive mindset to a regenerative, circular one. It's a battery that works in harmony with the planet's natural systems, not against them. So, how does this seemingly magical device work? The beauty of the proton battery is that, at its core, it's elegantly simple. It operates on the same fundamental principles as any battery you've ever used. It has a positive electrode, the cathode, a negative electrode, the anode, and a substance in between that allows charge to flow, the electrolyte. The genius is in the substitution of materials. Think of a traditional lithium-ion battery as an exclusive high-security nightclub. The lithium-ions are the VIPs. When the battery is charging, these VIPs are forced out of the comfortable cathode lounge and escorted across the dance floor, the electrolyte, to the crowded anode bar. When you use your phone, the bouncers open the ropes, and the VIPs rush back to the cathode lounge, releasing their energy to power your device. But these lithium VIPs are rare, expensive, and can be volatile. If things get too crowded or too hot, they can cause a lot of trouble in the battery world. This can mean a fire. Now, imagine the proton battery. The nightclub is still there, but the entire system is different. The anode and cathode are not made of heavy metals, but of a sophisticated porous carbon structure. And the electrolyte, the medium for travel, isn't a flammable organic solvent. It's water-based. Most importantly, the VIPs have been replaced. Instead of heavy lithium ions, the charge carriers are tiny, nimble protons. When the proton battery charges, an external power source splits water molecules, releasing protons. These protons, the smallest ions in existence, flow through the water-based electrolyte and embed themselves within the carbon anode. When power is needed, the process reverses. The protons flow back through the electrolyte to the cathode, where they recombibe with oxygen, forming water again, and in doing so, they release a flow of electrons that generates electricity. The result is breathtaking in its elegance. It's a battery built from carbon and water. Instead of relying on a supply chain that wraps around the globe, fraught with conflict and environmental damage, its core components are among the most abundant and benign materials on Earth. It's a closed-loop rechargeable system that essentially breathes protons. There are no toxic metals to leak, no flammable solvents to ignite. It's a battery that, instead of being a fire hazard, is fundamentally built from the two elements that extinguish fire, carbon and water. This isn't just an incremental improvement. It's a paradigm shift in how we think about storing energy. A breakthrough of this magnitude doesn't happen overnight in a single eureka moment. It's a story of patient, painstaking science, of standing on the shoulders of giants, and of relentless incremental progress. The journey of the proton battery is a testament to the scientific process, a slow-burning fuse that finally ignited into a brilliant flash of discovery. The first whispers of this technology as a viable concept emerged from the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, RMIT, in Australia back in 2014. A team there developed the first rudimentary prototype. It was a pioneering effort, a proof of concept that showed the world it was possible to create a reversible proton flow in a solid-state device. It worked, but it was far from perfect. The capacity was low, and the materials weren't quite right. It was a fascinating laboratory curiosity, but it was not yet a rival to the reigning king, lithium-ion. The scientific community took note. The idea was too compelling to ignore. Over the next few years, teams around the world began to tinker with the concept. In 2020, a Swedish team at Uppsala University made significant improvements. refining the electrode materials and boosting the battery's performance. They pushed the ball forward, demonstrating that with the right chemistry, the proton battery could be more than just a novelty. Each new paper, each small advance, added a piece to the puzzle. Progress was slow, but it was steady. The world was inching closer to a solution. The central challenge was a problem of traffic flow. The early designs had a fundamental bottleneck. The protons, while small and eager to move, struggled to get in and out of the carbon electrode material efficiently. Imagine trying to pack a stadium full of people through a single narrow gate. It's slow, inefficient, and you can't get many people inside. This was the problem facing the proton battery. It couldn't store enough protons, and it couldn't release them quickly enough to deliver a powerful current. The battery's performance was being throttled. Then came the turning point, the breakthrough. Scientists at the University of New South Wales, UNSW, in Sydney, building on all the work that had come before, developed the key that unlocked the gate. They engineered a new proprietary carbon-based compound for the electrode, a material they named TapQ. TapQ was the game changer. It wasn't just a simple carbon sponge. It was an architecturally designed marvel at the molecular level. It created the perfect proton highway, a structure with precisely the right shape and properties, to allow protons to flow in and out with unprecedented speed and efficiency. It was like replacing that single narrow gate at the stadium with a dozen wide-open entrances. Suddenly, the protons could move freely. They could pack into the electrode in high densities and rush out on demand. The theoretical promise of proton power was finally transformed into tangible, breathtaking performance. And the results were nothing short of record-breaking. The UNSW Proton Battery achieved a specific capacity of a stunning 307 mAh per gram. To put that in perspective, a standard lithium-ion battery, the workhorse in your phone, typically sits in the range of 150 to 250 mAh per gram. With the most advanced designs pushing 350, the proton battery wasn't just in the same league anymore. It was stepping up to the plate, ready to compete with the very best. But power is only half the story. A battery also needs longevity. How many times can it be charged and discharged before it starts to fade? The UNSW team put their creation through its paces. They subjected it to 3,500 full charge-discharge cycles, and even after all that grueling work, the battery retained over 70% of its initial capacity. For context, most commercial lithium-ion batteries are rated for 500 to 1,000 cycles. This suggested a lifespan that was multiples longer than the current industry standard. Then they tested its resilience. One of the major weaknesses of lithium-ion batteries is their sensitivity to temperature. They hate the cold, which is why your phone battery dies so quickly on a ski trip. And they hate extreme heat, which can lead to degradation and even dangerous thermal runaway. The proton battery, however, proved to be a robust and hardy performer. It operated efficiently even at a bone-chilling -30 degrees Celsius, a temperature at which most other batteries would have given up completely. It charges quickly, its water-based chemistry makes it incredibly resistant to overheating, and its materials are non-flammable and environmentally friendly. In almost every respect, it wasn't just a high-performance battery. It was one of the safest and most resilient batteries ever built. So let's put them side by side. In one corner, the reigning champion, lithium-ion, powerful, ubiquitous, but burdened by a legacy of environmental damage, ethical concerns, and safety risks. In the other corner, the challenger, the proton battery, a young contender, but one that shines in the areas where the champion is weakest. Let's run the tail of the tape. Sustainability. This is an almost flawless victory for the proton battery. Its core components are carbon and water. Its fuel, hydrogen, is the most abundant element in the universe. It completely sidesteps the destructive mining of lithium, cobalt, nickel, and manganese. Its manufacturing process promises to be cleaner and simpler. Safety. Again, a clear win for the proton battery. The flammable organic electrolytes in lithium-ion batteries are a known fire risk, responsible for countless recalls of phones, laptops, and hoverboards. The proton battery, with its water-based electrolyte and stable carbon electrodes, is intrinsically safe. You can't set water on fire. Performance. Here, the fight gets interesting. In terms of energy density, the amount of punch it packs for its weight, the proton battery is now nearly matching lithium-ion. This is the metric that determines how long your phone lasts or how far your car can drive on a single charge. The fact that this young technology is already competitive is astounding. In terms of power density, how quickly it can deliver that energy in cycle life, the early results suggest it could even surpass its rival. Versatility. The proton battery's resilience in both extreme heat and cold gives it a major advantage. It makes it suitable for applications in everything from Arctic research stations to grid storage in the Sahara Desert, environments where traditional batteries struggle. Cost. This is the one area where lithium-ion still holds a decisive advantage for now. Decades of research, massive economies of scale, and a mature global supply chain have made lithium-ion batteries relatively cheap to produce. The proton battery is still a laboratory-scale technology. Its materials are inherently cheap, but building the factories and the infrastructure to produce it at scale will require enormous investment. However, as the true environmental and social costs of lithium-ion are increasingly factored in, and as the supply of its raw materials tightens, that cost gap will inevitably narrow. The long-term promise of the proton battery is a simpler supply chain and a cleaner, and therefore ultimately cheaper, manufacturing process. But despite all its promise, we must remain grounded. The proton battery is not going to be in your phone next year. The path from a record-breaking laboratory prototype to a mass-market commercial product is a long and arduous one. It's the difference between building a single handcrafted Ferrari and building 1,000,000 reliable Toyotas. The hurdles are significant. First, there is the challenge of scaling up production. The sophisticated nanostructured carbon material, TapQ, needs to be manufacturable in large quantities, consistently and affordably. Second, all the impressive results so far have been for the electrode material itself. The next crucial step is to build and test a complete full-cell battery, integrating the anode, cathode, electrolyte, and casing into a commercially viable package, and measuring its real-world performance. Finally, even for a technology built on sustainability, a plan for the end of its life is essential. A new recycling infrastructure will need to be designed and built to handle these new materials, ensuring that the promise of a circular energy economy becomes a reality. These are not trivial challenges. But we should remember, the lithium-ion battery was not an overnight success. It was first proposed in the 1970s and didn't become a commercially viable product until Sony released the first units in 1991. It took nearly 4 decades of development, investment, and refinement to reach maturity. The proton battery may follow a similar path. But in a world facing the urgent, existential threat of climate change, with global investment in clean technology at an all-time high, its journey from the lab to the world could be much, much faster. And just when you think this story can't get any more compelling, the proton battery reveals its secret superpower. A remarkable dual identity that could elevate it from a mere energy storage device to a cornerstone of our entire clean energy future. It's not just a battery. It's also a hydrogen storage system. One of the biggest obstacles to the much heralded hydrogen economy has been the difficulty of storing hydrogen. As a gas, it is diffuse and needs to be compressed to high pressures or cryogenically cooled to a liquid, both of which are energy-intensive and pose safety challenges. The proton battery offers a third way. By embedding protons, the nuclei of hydrogen atoms, into its solid-state carbon electrode, it stores hydrogen in a stable, safe, and dense form. It becomes, in essence, a hydrogen sponge. It can be charged with hydrogen from a renewable source, like electrolysis powered by solar panels. Then, it can hold that hydrogen safely and indefinitely in a solid, unpressurized state. When the energy is needed, it can be released in one of 2 ways, either as electricity, by operating as a battery, or as pure hydrogen gas, by reversing the absorption process. This dual functionality is a masterstroke of engineering. It creates a bridge between our electric grids and the future hydrogen infrastructure. Imagine a home equipped with a proton battery system. On a sunny day, rooftop solar panels could charge the battery. If the grid needs power, it can discharge like a normal battery. But it could also use that solar energy to create and store hydrogen. That hydrogen could then be used to refuel a hydrogen-powered vehicle, or be stored for long periods, days, weeks, or even seasons to provide power long after the sun has set. It's a single device that provides both short-term energy storage, like a battery, and long-term energy storage, like a fuel tank. It's the missing link, a safe, solid-state solution for storing and releasing the clean fuel of the future. The proton battery is still in its infancy. It is a glimpse of tomorrow, a tantalizing preview of what's possible. It represents a different path forward, a future powered by ingenuity and abundance rather than extraction and scarcity. Lithium-ion lit the way for the 21st century, showing us what was possible with portable power. But its flame, fueled by the Earth's finite resources, cannot burn forever. Proton technology may just be the dawn that illuminates the horizon. This story is about more than just a new piece of hardware. It is a profound lesson in how we approach problem solving. When faced with a roadblock, do we simply try to patch the old, failing system, or do we dare to imagine a new one? The creators of the proton battery looked at the fundamental problem, the movement of charge, and went back to first principles. They chose the smallest, simplest, most abundant tool nature had to offer. It's a solution born of elegance, a testament to the power of human curiosity and our ability to innovate our way to a better future. As we stand at this crossroads, the path we choose will define the world we leave for generations to come. The proton battery reminds us that the solutions to our greatest challenges are often not found in more complex, brute force methods, but in a deeper understanding and smarter application of the natural world around us. This isn't just a new battery. This is a new beginning. So the next time you charge your phone, take a moment to think about the incredible journey of the energy stored within it. And ask yourself, what other revolutionary ideas are out there, waiting in a laboratory, ready to change the world? What do you believe is the most important quality for the battery of the future? Is it cost, sustainability, performance, or safety? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the future energy. I wish you all the very best of health and happiness. And if you found this story as inspiring as I did, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel for more explorations into the technologies that are shaping our world.